Hello, I'm Mike Huckman, and welcome everyone to the inaugural broadcast of Good Day Bio here at the 2019 Biotechnology Innovation Organization's International Convention in Philadelphia. Our show is designed to give you a rundown of some of the highlights of the day and feature several of the important tracks, topics, and program participants here. Some fast facts about the critical mass at this year's meeting, making it by far the biggest gathering of the biotech community in the world. Approximately 17,000 people are registered, and more than 50,000 partnership meetings are expected to take place here this week. The next couple of days are packed with dynamic, thought-provoking programming from morning until night. On the marquee today, Tuesday, a keynote interview with Bio President Jim Greenwood and Dr. Siddhartha Mukherjee, the renowned author of The Emperor of All Maladies. That's at 9 a.m. And then a fireside chat with Merck CEO Ken Frazier on Wednesday at 11 o'clock in the morning. The theme of this year's convention, which also features more than 75 patient advocacy groups, is It Starts With One. So we're going to start our first show with one. One patient, one voice, one advocate who, like many of us, is trying to make a big difference for the many. And that's Emily Kramer-Gollenkoff, who is the co-founder of an organization called Emily's Entourage. And we're also joined by Bio's Director of Alliance Development, Mary Bordini. Welcome to Good Day Bio, ladies. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Emily, let's start with you. And if you wouldn't mind sharing your cystic fibrosis journey story.
Sure. So I have a fatal genetic disease called cystic fibrosis. It's a disease that primarily affects the lungs and the digestive system. And there are game-changing breakthroughs for about 90% of the CF population, either already approved and in market or soon to be submitted for approval, and with really outstanding data that suggests quick FDA approval, fingers crossed. But unfortunately, I have 2 copies of what's called a nonsense mutation. And so I fall in the group that is part of the outlying 10% that unfortunately doesn't benefit from any of these breakthroughs. These aren't just your run-of-the-mill drugs. These are really game-changing, revolutionary new drugs that are taking people off transplant lists, letting them have families, run marathons, and really realistically dream for a future that they never dared to dream of.
So Emily, you started your organization. The EE stands for Emily's Entourage,
that's right.
And its goal is to, I would imagine, number one,
speed research and drug development for nonsense mutations of cystic fibrosis. 12% of all genetic diseases are caused by nonsense mutations. So there are 30 million people worldwide who are living with a genetic disease that's also caused by a nonsense mutation. And so our hope and our goal is that the drugs and the research that we can help drive can have far-reaching effects far beyond just the cystic fibrosis community.
So Mary, Emily's Entourage is just one patient advocacy group, but Bio has really been making a concerted effort over the years to make and nurture and build relationships with organizations like EE, correct?
Yes, and we're so pleased to have over 75 patient advocacy organizations joining us at this convention this year. In our patient advocacy pavilion. And we think it's really important to bring patient advocates like Emily to the convention so that our member companies and the entire biotech community can hear from a patient and on how important innovation is, and to continue working to bring the right drug to the right patient at the right time.
Emily, how are you doing?
Yeah, it's a good question. So unfortunately, I have really advanced stage disease. It's an invisible illness, so you can't see it on the outside. So I look perfectly healthy, but I have about 31% lung function, spend about 3 to 4 hours a day doing medical treatments, take handfuls and handfuls of pills, and actually also have cystic fibrosis related diabetes, so managed with insulin. So
the clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking, and for patients like me who unfortunately don't benefit from these new drugs, time is of the essence, and so and is as quickly ticking, and so we're really in the race for our lives.
Thank you, Mary and Emily. First of all, thank you for sharing your story, but especially thank you for what you and your organization does on behalf of all sorts of people living with cystic fibrosis.
Thank you.
And you can hear more from Emily and other patient advocates in a special panel session today at 11 o'clock. There are nearly 2,000 exhibitors at this year's convention. That's a lot of territory to cover. So let's go now to our correspondent Benjamin Keynes, who's on the Bio Exhibit Hall floor with a look at just some of the must-sees.
Thanks, Mike. I'm here on the exhibit floor visiting with one of this year's tri-state area hosts. Earlier, I spoke with representatives from Pennsylvania, Delaware, and New Jersey about the exciting things happening this week.
Hello, I'm Helen Stimson, and I'm the President and CEO of the Delaware Bioscience Association. And I'd like to welcome you here to the floor of Bio as we're setting up for this exciting convention. We're going to be having a reception at our booth at the end of the day today and welcome you to join us. While you're here, head down to the academic zone and check out the National Institute for Biopharmaceutical Manufacturing, which is located at the University of Delaware. We're glad you're here.
In New Jersey, our delegation is being led by none other than Governor Phil Murphy. We will be featuring New Jersey Boardwalk Fair and also patient advocate and artist Max Schill. So come on by booth 1501. I promise it'll be fun.
Life Sciences Pennsylvania and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania are thrilled to have everyone here for the Bio Convention. Join us this evening for our reception, 5:30 to 7, where we'll have the gourmet cheesesteaks.
The exhibit floor will be opening soon, and there's a lot to see and do. This year, attendees can enjoy a stroll down Bio Boulevard, take in some mini golf at the Hole-in-One, capitalize on professional headshots with the Headshot Lounge, and even challenge yourself in the Bio Maze. Also, between 11 and 4 today, don't forget to stop by Lounge D for the Build-A-Bear workshop. Here, attendees can build a unique bear and include a personalized note to be donated to a child in need through Ruby's Kids, an amazing charity helping provide valuable resources to the community.
Thanks, Benjamin. For the last several years, Bio has been working to help the sector make faster progress when it comes to diversity and inclusion. At this year's convention, the organization is unveiling the next campaign in its ongoing efforts called The Right Mix Matters. Joining us to talk about what that means is Dr. Helen Torley. She's the CEO of a company called Halozyme, as well as a Bio board member and chair of the Workforce Development, Diversity and Inclusion Committee. And we're also joined by Joanne Duncan, Bio President of Membership and Business Operations. Welcome to the show, ladies. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's start by talking about why there's still a need to focus on this issue, if you will, of diversity and inclusion, specifically as it relates to the biotechnology sector.
Thanks, Mike. If you pick up any survey, you'll see that we have a large gap, both in biotech leadership as well as board in diverse representation. That includes gender, racial, and LGBTQ. And this matters because survey after survey shows us that top quartile companies in terms of diversity and gender and race outperform other companies and are more innovative.
So as a result of that, you're unveiling here at this year's Bio the next campaign, which is called The Right Mix Matters. What's inside?
Oh, there's two parts to The Right Mix Matters. We think the title alone, Right Mix Matters, as Helen just described, makes a huge difference in the success of a company. And as a result of that, we've launched two initiatives, the Bio Board List and the Diversity and Inclusion Toolkit, which are both part of Bio's website as well and part of the Right Mix Matters campaign.
And what do those allow people to do?
Yes, let me start with the Bio board list. This is a curated board list that's searchable by any Bio member to identify candidates who are ready now to be board members. These are people who may be senior vice presidents in companies, not prior CEOs, who are not on the radar screen or in the networks of boards today. And so this introduces and creates a virtual network, if you like, that board members and CEOs can search to bring diverse candidates into their candidate pools, and we believe that will result in a rapid change in the diversity of boards in biotech. And Joanne, do you want to comment on the toolkit?
You know, stepping back one step is what Helen indicated. We are trying to drive more diversity in the C-suite, more diversity on boards, in the boardrooms. And in order to do that, these two tools are helping support that. We literally have an initiative in place to drive that change by 2025. So in order to do that, as Helen described, we have the board list, and the Right Mix Matters also has the toolkit, which is inside. It's really to enhance the workforce itself, to hire properly, to educate properly, to inform your employees, to help them advance through the organization, because that right mix matters within the workforce itself, within a biotech company.
And Dr. Chorley, are you stopping there? Are you just going to have these two tools in the toolbox?
No, we really see this as just the beginning. We're doing a survey at the moment of all biotech members, seeking to understand what they're doing today to advance diversity and inclusion so that we can understand and capture the very best ideas. We will add these on to today's base because we will achieve this goal of doubling diversity in the C-suite and also in the boards by 2025.
Thank you both for being here, and we look forward to seeing the right mix achieved throughout the biotechnology sector.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
And now here's a special welcome message from the CEO of a pharmaceutical company you just might have heard of, and which has a giant footprint across this year's convention host region, including right here in Greater Philadelphia.
Hi, I'm Ken Frazier, Chairman and CEO of Merck. Welcome to Philadelphia and to the 2019 Bio International Convention, where some of the greatest minds and greatest companies in life sciences come together to find new ways to unlock the type of innovation that could benefit patients and society. That's why Merck is here, to join forces with others as we take on the toughest healthcare challenges today to create a better tomorrow together. We're committed to pursuing the most promising science and developing strong partnerships across the healthcare ecosystem. We're pleased to be with you here in Philadelphia, and we wish you all a productive conference. Thank you.
Our thanks to Ken Frazier, who will be participating in a fireside chat with CNBC's Meg Terrell at 11 o'clock Wednesday morning, so be sure to put that on your calendars. This year, there are more than 70 countries exhibiting here at Bio, and one that was in key focus at a special summit event last night is China. It is a fast-growing biotechnology community, and it's offering greater access to life sciences companies to bring their medicines to the Chinese people. But with that comes a variety of new challenges. So joining us now is Joe DeMond, Bio Executive Vice President for International Affairs, and Wendy Pan. She's a partner in the life sciences practice at the Goodwin Law Firm's Hong Kong office. Welcome to you both. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Glad to be here.
So just based on the sheer size of the population, the medical need is so great in China, especially as it's continuing to develop. So how easy or daunting is it to try to bring therapies to the Chinese population?
Go ahead.
It's becoming much easier. In the past 12 to 24 months, Chinese FDA has adopted a number of amendments. It makes easier for multinationals to conduct trials in China. Most importantly, the interest from the China side remain extremely strong to bring cutting-edge medicines to Chinese market.
So that's the opportunity. What are the top challenges facing biotech today in China?
I think that for smaller biotechs, one of the challenges, of course, is just understanding the Chinese market. Sometimes you have to do a partnership to do that, either with a big global company or with a Chinese company. That's one challenge. Another challenge is I think there are still some issues with respect to the enforcement of intellectual property rights in China. I do think also, though, the Chinese laws and acknowledgement of the importance of intellectual property rights have also improved in the last several years, but it's still something you have to to think about. But China's a big country, so if you want to have access to over 1 billion patients, that's not an easy thing to do. That involves building a network of people that can help you understand. Every province is a little bit different. Every province has different conditions under which maybe they'll pay for a drug, that sort of thing. So it takes a lot of understanding.
And Wendy, back on the positive side of the ledger, there's been a recent good development on the equity side of things. Tell us about that.
Oh, you are talking about the Hong Kong Exchange's new listing rule for pre-revenue biotech companies. It started about a year ago. So far, there were 7 companies which have been successfully listed on Hong Kong Exchange under this new rule. And also there's a strong pipeline of IPO candidates. Previously, PRC, mainland China, its listing rule is very similar to the Hong Kong rule, which means you have to have revenue, you have to have profitability before you can be considered for an IPO.
And the PRC is?
People's Republic of China.
Thank you.
China also has adopted a rule for pre-revenue innovative companies, including biotech companies.
So it sounds like inevitable challenges, but lots of opportunities out there in China for biotech today. Wendy, Joe, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Philadelphia is known for its historic landmarks, but there is a brand new landmark that was unveiled just this past weekend and created especially for this week's Bio International Convention. Thanks in part to the sponsorship of CSL Behring, which is a Philadelphia-based biotherapeutics company, there is a striking new mural located right here in Center City at 1108 Sansom, that's between 11th and 12th Streets. Working under the guidance of Philadelphia-based muralist Eric Octa, students in STEAM, not STEM, but STEAM, or science, technology, engineering, art, and math programs in local schools, painted this piece called The Promise of Biotechnology. The painting depicts Philadelphia's history of firsts in science and medicine, and it highlights people who have benefited from the advancements made in biotechnology here in the greater Philadelphia area. The mural's at 1108 Sansom Street between 11th and 12th, so type that into Google on your device and please try to head over there and take in this really colorful work of art before you leave town. This city is surrounded by a vibrant tri-state regional cluster of life sciences communities. So joining us now to talk about some of the things that make Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware mainstay locales for biopharmaceutical companies and their employees are the leaders of the bioaffiliates in each of those states. Chris Molyneux, CEO of Life Sciences Pennsylvania, Debbie Hart, CEO of BioNJ, and Helen Stimson, CEO of Delaware Bio. Thank you all for being here and welcome to Good Day Bio. So as all of you welcome the biotechnology world to your home turf, let's take a pulse check. Give us a report card on the state of the health in your individual states. And so I don't show any favoritism, let's go in alphabetical order: Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
Thank you. Well, I think Delaware both contributes to and benefits from being part of the Life Sciences Association here. We're seeing more and more people start new entrepreneurial startups, and since 2014, the number of entities, biopharmaceutical and bioscience entities in Delaware, is up by 33%.
And I'm happy to report, Mike, that in New Jersey the industry is thriving and growing and has been for forever. We have about 3,300 life sciences establishments in the state. We have almost 40 of the large pharma, medical device, large company formats in New Jersey. We have academic institutions that are thriving and growing and bringing in research dollars, and we have a very supportive government. So things are good in New Jersey.
Similarly in Pennsylvania, the industry continues to grow. We have slightly more than 3,800 life sciences companies in Pennsylvania, but more than half of them are companies with 10 employees or fewer. So on one hand, that's very optimistic. The entrepreneurial spirit is very much alive. But on the other side, you have to recognize it's a fragile community. So the work that organizations like Bio do to create a policy and business climate is really important.
So what are each of your organizations focused on right now in terms of helping to ensure the long-term sustainability and vibrancy of the life sciences sector in your states? And this time, let's go in reverse. So Pennsylvania, you're up.
Well, when you look at that startup community, obviously financial support, tax incentives, financial incentives to grow and develop within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania are really important. So we're really pushing in Harrisburg for a broad, healthy climate, business and public policy climate that makes building a company here, growing a company here, and staying in Pennsylvania really worthwhile.
In New Jersey, policy is critically important at the state and the federal level. So we're obviously very focused in there. We also are bringing our companies together to have them network, meet each other, collaborate, as the industry likes to do, like no other. We have a variety of services that are helping our companies retain their bottom line. And also helping with workforce development, helping them to bring people to their companies and then to keep them.
So Delaware is actually smaller in population than the city of Philadelphia, but we like to say we're proud but mighty. We've had several new incubators start up in the last few years. Angel investor tax credits have come in place, tax credits and incentives that are non-dilutive for small companies. And we put a lot of attention on workforce development. We actually produce more scientists and engineers than we can consume in the state, so we are a nice contributor to the region from a workforce perspective.
And that is a good problem to have. Thank you all for being here. Have a great conference this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've been having a great time talking to people about the Philadelphia food scene and what they're excited about.
Absolutely, if you're going to be here a couple of days, everyone's favorite is Jim's on South Street. So go to Jim's, but it doesn't stay open too late, so definitely get down to South Street, see some history, and have a cheesesteak there.
It's called Venice South. Yeah. It was in the Fisherman.
Fishtown?
Fishtown. Yeah.
I'm trying to take it easy. I saw cheesesteaks, and I think I'm not going to eat any of those. A lot of whoopie pies. The Reading Market looks amazing. So
my coworker told me about the cheese steak, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
I took too big of a bite. I can't stop.
Every year, one of the most inspiring events at the Bio International Convention is the so-called BioGENEius contest, where young people from all over North America compete for prize money by pitching their amazing science projects to a panel of distinguished judges. The finals were yesterday, and we're joined by 3 of the top students. Welcome to Good Day Bio, Layla Nguyen from Chicago, Ethan Chan from Vancouver Island, and Claire Wills from Iowa. Congratulations on getting this far, and it's great to have you all here.
Thank you. Thank you.
And before we go any further, congratulations, Layla, on graduating high school earlier this week.
Thank you.
So this was a live pitch of your science projects to the judges yesterday. So let's go around the horn, starting with you, Layla, in terms of what your project is.
My project was trying to solve climate change by optimizing alternative fuel sources, so I decided to study algae biofuel.
What is that?
It's basically fuel that you can derive from extracting it from algae, which is a little plant.
Awesome. Ethan?
For my project, I developed a device to measure and monitor protein concentration in human urine to aid kidney patients.
In order to what?
So by monitoring the condition, by getting the protein levels, you can better diagnose the patients.
And just want to mention as well that you're a freshman, you're a 9th grader in high school. Claire?
I wanted to create a low-cost but efficient algae-based biodiesel.
To accomplish what?
Climate change and our problems with using all of our corn towards gas.
Where did your interest come from in science?
I had a science teacher who wanted me to do a science project when I was younger, so that's kind of where the spark started.
And what about you, Ethan?
I had an older sister who was very involved in science, and I'm following in her footsteps, also doing science.
And Layla?
My dad is a scientist, so I grew up in the lab.
And it kind of just part of the DNA?
Yeah, I loved it so much.
Awesome. So there is going to be a cash prize for the winner. If one of you were the fortunate ones to win, what would you do with the money?
College.
I have a feeling that's going to be the unanimous answer across the panel here.
Maybe spend a bit advancing my project, but otherwise put it in the bank for college.
I'd try to invest it so I can use it later for college.
Where did you get the idea to do the research that you did? What was the spark?
It all started on YouTube, actually. I started looking up videos about climate change, and it recommends videos. So I found a project about algae biofuel from a company, and I was just so fascinated by it.
A YouTube-generated hypothesis. That's a first, I think. Yeah.
I myself have kidney disease. I have a chronic kidney disease called nephrotic syndrome, so that's where the idea for my project stemmed from.
So you have a deeply personal passion then?
Yeah.
That makes complete sense.
People in my area were killing off the algae on their farms, so I wanted to engineer something else to do with that.
Thank you all for being here. The winner is going to be announced later today, so we wish all of you, as well as your fellow competitors, the best of luck in the competition and best wishes for the future as well.
Thank you.
We started this first edition of Good Day Bio with one patient, and we're going to finish it today with one patient. He's a Pennsylvania resident and a former biotech executive who is too sick to be here. We're going to leave you today with some thoughts from Michael Becker.
I'm Michael Becker. As some of you may know, in December 2015, I was diagnosed with head and neck cancer. At the time, I was surprised to learn that my disease was caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV, the same virus that can cause cervical cancer in women. Thanks to biopharma discovery and investment, for several years now, there has been a vaccine available to prevent the types of high-risk HPV strains responsible for causing 6 types of cancer, including the kind that I have. Unfortunately, this vaccine wasn't available when I was a preteen. Further, there are still a lot of misperceptions about the vaccine that are responsible for relatively low uptake. Helping ensure that other boys and girls don't suffer my same fate is important to me as I consider my legacy as a former biotech executive and more recently as an advocate. Creating awareness and increasing vaccination rates is my remaining life's mission. While this may seem daunting, scientific progress can and does truly begin with one idea, one theory, one success, one passionate person. It starts with one.